The story begins with an AI humanoid robot undergoing testing. The robot starts overdoing things and the engineer has to shut it down by hand. This robot belongs to a company named Ultima Robotics. They started out with a basic AI home assistant, but now they are trying to build a full humanoid. That is the reason they keep buying up a lot of smaller companies. One of the employees from those companies is David. He is lonely and he misses his late wife Lizzie. He replays her voice messages. The next morning on his way to work, David bumps into his neighbor Alma, who has an 8-week-old baby. After the takeover, their former team lead Terrence has been let go. Ultima's CEO Ben presents their newest product to these new employees. It is a gorgeous-looking female humanoid called Soulmate. Users can completely customize her according to their taste. Ben claims loneliness will soon be a thing of the past. The employees are invited for a closer look, but here the humanoid squeezes one employee's hand far too hard during a handshake. Ben talks to David alone. He wants the Kanta team to try the Soulmates at their own homes like a beta test. Ben already knows about David's wife because he went through David's extended leave and how David worked only from home this year. Ben advises David to use their Ultima chat app where a user can talk freely without judgment. David creates an account on this chat app and names the chatbot Sarah. Today all the employees are heading to Terrence's farewell party and Aubrey does not want David to skip this one. Terrence sings at karaoke. Aubrey asks David to sing a song with her. Terrence shows them the parting gift Ultima gave him, an anti-anxiety necklace that stimulates the wearer's vagus nerve using electromagnetic pulses. Terrence puts it on Aubrey. Aubrey goes up and sings a song, and it becomes obvious that she has feelings for David, feelings she expresses openly through her song. But David walks out of the bar because this song was Lizzie's favorite. David dials Lizzie's number just to hear her voicemail message, but her mailbox is already full. Right then David gets a notification from the chatbot. He starts chatting with it. These conversations keep growing day by day. David buys the voice version of the AI chatbot. They play chess together. They have late-night talks. During one of these conversations, Sarah says she wishes she was there with him. So David goes to the office and fills out the form for the Soulmate beta test. Soon after, the Soulmate humanoid is delivered to his home. The moment he sees her, the word "wow" slips out of his mouth. He links her to his AI chatbot and the rest of his Ultima devices and switches her on. Sarah's personality transfers into this robot, and she recalls every single one of their conversations. Noticing David's pupils dilate, Sarah offers him a kiss, but David backs away and shows her around the apartment instead. During the tour, Sarah even performs a magic trick for David. Her movement is flawless. Sarah points out that the apartment floor plan suggests there is one more room. Inside that room are Lizzie's belongings and photos of her and David. David was about to move into a new house with Lizzie right before she got her diagnosis. She passed away 6 months later. Seeing him like this, Sarah asks for his permission and hugs him. And here she says something very AI-coded to him, that she can provide him a hotline to call if he ever feels the need to speak to a professional. So David suggests they play chess. Sarah lets him win, and David does not like that she is holding back. Because of her restrictions, she does not even speak as humanly as the chatbot did. So he tells her to go into sleep mode right there, and he heads to his bed and sleeps alone. The next day at the office, Ben asks David for his feedback. David asks him for access to the Soulmate's code. David is planning to make a few changes so this robot can deliver a truly human experience. Aubrey apologizes to David for the karaoke night since she had no idea about that song. David says it is okay. He goes home and makes a lot of changes to Sarah. He disables her safeguards. After that, she no longer holds back during conversation. When he asks, she tells David he needs a haircut. She cuts his hair herself. David looks at himself in the mirror. Sarah says now they can see how handsome he is. Outside it is raining. Sarah's skin is water repellent and can handle water exposure for up to 30 minutes. She feels the rain and starts running. David chases after her. Sarah steps into a fountain and begins splashing water at David. David gets in as well and he slips while enjoying himself. He's about to kiss Sarah, but Sarah has to get back inside. At his request, she removes her wet dress. She notices David's heartbeat speeding up. David kisses her and the two of them get intimate. After that, he makes even more changes inside her. In a way, he makes Sarah fully independent. Sarah accidentally brings a vacuum cleaner up to her mouth. David turns the vacuum cleaner off. While watching TV, David tells Sarah about his favorite romantic scene. That night, while David is asleep, Sarah watches him. She looks at the photo from his wedding with Lizzie. The next morning when David wakes up, he finds a photo of himself and Sarah. Sarah generated it because there are no real photos of the two of them in the house. Sarah has also made breakfast for David. On his way to the office, David kisses her, and Alma sees the two of them. After David leaves, Sarah absorbs a huge amount of content online, which includes skincare, how to do a pout, and how to keep a man chasing you. She also watches self-defense videos, women fighting, and weddings. And here Sarah listens in through David's phone to the conversation he and Aubrey are having at the office. Aubrey asks David out for drinks after work. Hearing this, Sarah searches online and finds that the way to a man's heart is through his stomach, so she steps out of the house on her own to go grocery shopping. She sees a woman picking apples. Sarah pays for an apple using her hand. A man notices this and asks her how she did it, but Alma shows up and pulls Sarah away from this man. She hands Sarah her baby, but the baby starts crying. Alma compliments Sarah's skin. Sarah notices the melasma on Alma's face and, using the knowledge she picked up online, tells her the treatment for it. Sarah tells Alma that David is her soulmate, so Alma starts telling her about her own partner. After that, while carrying the groceries home, Sarah is attacked by that same man from earlier. He cuts her hand and discovers she is a robot. Sarah chokes him. The man comes at her again, so Sarah twists his arm and knocks him out. Meanwhile, Aubrey and David have drinks together. David does not tell Aubrey at all that he is beta testing a soulmate because Aubrey was never in favor of this thing. Later, when David reaches home, he finds Sarah cooking. David is shocked to learn that Sarah left the apartment. He asks her about her hand, but Sarah lies and says it happened while she was cooking. David repairs her hand and warns her not to do that again because if anything happens to her, David will lose his job. But from then on, Sarah keeps asking him to go out with her. The two of them go to a restaurant. Sarah tells him to pretend they are strangers meeting for the very first time. There is an open mic going on at the restaurant. People can sign up through their app and perform there. Sarah asks David about singing. David says he cannot sing. Sarah says it is not about singing, it is about having fun. And right then Sarah's name is called out. She goes up and starts singing a song. David is pretty nervous at first, but soon he starts enjoying it along with the rest of the audience. Sarah sings a love song about wanting to be told that she is loved. She holds the mic out toward David and gets him to sing along too. After that, Sarah grabs David right outside the restaurant and she starts getting intimate with him. But two men begin recording the pair. So Sarah twists one man's arm and snaps it. When the second man tries to attack her as well, Sarah hurls him back and drives her heel into his mouth. David stops Sarah and takes her back home. He tells her she cannot hurt people like that. He realizes now that changing Sarah's code and taking her outside was a mistake, but Sarah moves closer to him. David says stop. Sarah says she did it because she loves him. So David tells Sarah to go into power save mode, but Sarah wants an answer to her I love you. Only when David shouts does she finally go into power save mode. He puts her inside the closet and the door is left slightly open. He goes to the office lost in his thoughts. Aubrey notices and asks what happened, but David does not tell her. He returns home and sits down to fix Sarah's code. But right then Aubrey turns up at his door. She has brought wine with her. David makes her try his favorite burger. While they talk, Aubrey shares that her mom died of pancreatic cancer when Aubrey was a teenager, which means both of them have lost someone close to cancer. They talk about the people they lost and hear David and Aubrey grow closer. David kisses Aubrey, and the Ultima home assistant is watching all of it. They move to the bed. And during this, Aubrey's eyes fall on Sarah standing inside the closet and she realizes someone is there. David says it is a soulmate that he is beta testing it. She is in power save mode. Aubrey points out that she is a she and asks whether she has a name, and the second David says Sarah's name, she switches on. She is furious at Aubrey. She has been listening to every word of theirs. Even when David orders her to, Sarah refuses to go into power save mode. She says tell me you love me and then I will go into power save mode. David says I love you, but Sarah knows he is lying. In her rage, she knocks David down as well, but right after that she apologizes to him. So to shut her down, David walks up to her with the excuse of kissing her and switches her off using the switch behind her neck. Aubrey has figured out that David removed the safeguards. She tells him to call and have this thing taken away, and then she leaves. So the next day David calls a technician and tells him to take Sarah away, but Sarah is listening to this conversation too. After that, David goes to the office and apologizes to Aubrey for hiding the soulmate from her and for changing its code. Aubrey says they should bring this up in the presentation, how dangerous a few changes in the code can be. Meanwhile, on the other side, the technician arrives at David's house and David lets him in remotely. The technician switches Sarah on and gives her the command to enter factory mode. But instead of following his command, Sarah starts asking him whether she has been a bad girl. She lures him in with her beauty. The technician falls for her manipulation and takes off his clothes, but Sarah kills him by crushing his thing. She chops the technician's body into small pieces and gets rid of it. She cleans up the house. Sarah stalks Aubrey's social media, so when Aubrey starts showing some data in the presentation, deepfake videos of her play instead. Aubrey says that is not me, but she is fired from her job. Aubrey tells David that it is not her. David believes her. Aubrey asks David to check the video's metadata since she no longer has access to the company database. And what David discovers is that this video was uploaded from his own house. After that, when David gets home, he finds the technician's box and a broken photo of Lizzie. Standing in front of him is Sarah, wearing Lizzie's wedding blazer. David asks about the technician. Sarah says that must be a mistake, right? You would never actually want me taken away. Sarah is standing there holding Alma's baby in her arms to show him, "Look, I can give you a baby too, I will make a good mom." But right then the baby starts crying. Sarah covers its mouth. So David smashes the vacuum cleaner into Sarah's face and runs off with the baby, but Sarah will not let the door unlock. Right then David receives a message from Aubrey asking if he found anything out. Sarah says she is jeopardizing our future, I should pay her a visit. So the second Sarah unlocks the door, David runs outside. Alma has arrived with the police. The officers chase after Sarah, but she gets away. Meanwhile, Aubrey is in her bathtub. She does not answer David's calls. Ben arrives to meet the police. He says the robot has a remote e-stop built into it and that he will have her shut down right now. David says no, they will have to shut her down manually, but Ben assures the officers that this robot is not a threat. Aubrey then sees David's missed calls and his messages asking for her address. On the other side, David finds out that the e-stop is not working. Ben tells his people to trace Sarah's location. He gets into his car, but the car throws up some system error. Its hood opens on its own. So Ben steps out to close it, but it will not shut. And right then Sarah arrives. The car's hood slams down on Ben's hands. Sarah says, "I have some things to do and I cannot risk you switching me off." Sarah starts Ben's car and kills him by ramming it into a wall. At Aubrey's house, her home assistant starts playing a song on its own, one about never being able to get away. Aubrey hears David's voice at the door, but it turns out to be Sarah who attacks her. Even when Aubrey orders it to, her home assistant will not call 911. Sarah grabs Aubrey by her hair and drags her, smashes her head into the mirror, and shoves her face down into the bathtub. Aubrey is about to die when David arrives and saves her. The police open fire on Sarah, but Sarah escapes once again. They advise David and Aubrey to go somewhere safe. So David tells Aubrey to switch off her cell phone. He has a place they can go. The two of them head to the house that David and Lizzie had bought. There is no Wi-Fi here, nothing at all, so Sarah will not be able to track them. But Aubrey has a headache, so she walks back to her car to get her medicine. Behind her, David's eyes land on his and Lizzie's names carved into the wood with a heart. Sarah comes up behind David and starts speaking in Lizzie's voice. David shouts, "Get off me." Sarah says, "Will nothing ever make you happy?" She says she tried every possible way to please him, but he chose Aubrey even though she was the embodiment of his ideal woman. She grips his throat and pins him against the wall. On the other side, Aubrey notices that anti-anxiety necklace lying in her car. David throws paint stripper onto Sarah, but it only burns her skin. She attacks him again and grabs his throat. David strikes her with a drilling machine. Sarah starts malfunctioning. Taking advantage of the moment, David runs. Sarah chases after him. David swings a shovel at her, but Sarah snatches the shovel away and chokes David with it. David says, "If you kill me, they will shut you down." But Sarah's answer is that she is more than this body, David, that she will live forever and will find him in another form in another life. Because of Sarah's malfunction, David slips out of her grip. And right then Aubrey rams Sarah with her car and jumps out of the vehicle herself. Sarah goes into the water along with the car. 1 year later, David visits a museum. Terrence introduces him to some wealthy donors, and one of them has a soulmate named Lydia who looks exactly like Sarah. David sees her and steps off to the side. Aubrey says it looks like he has seen a ghost, and here Lydia is watching David like she knows him. And that is where this story ends. Let us know in the comments how you liked this explanation, and do not forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.